As we were laying this down, we saw the response from Iran, an initial round of 100 missiles inbound. Most of them got intercepted by presumably Iron Dome. I don't know how much American help was involved. Probably some. It's not confirmed yet. At least one looks like it got through and struck the heart and downtown of Tel Aviv. There have been two subsequent missile volleys coming in. Haven't seen any other hit, but we're hearing reports now that first responders are responding to 7 different possible sites looking for any potential casualties or injuries. This may be from direct missile strikes. It may just be collateral damage from shrapnel of intercepted missiles. Jim Garrity, give me your thoughts as we're watching the Middle East at war.
Yeah, stunning footage right before we started taping, and probably by the time people hear this, they'll be seeing even more of it. I think last night we all felt elated, or at least a sense of great satisfaction that the Iranian nuclear program was going to be dealt, hopefully, what amounted to a fatal blow. If not that, then a serious setback to the program. Sounds like the Mossad had managed to kill quite a few high-level Iranian nuclear scientists, quite a few high-level Iranian military officials, Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps officials. But we knew the response was going to come at some point. And apparently the initial response was like 100 drone strikes last night. According to the IDF, next to nothing significant amount to that one. This footage, what we're seeing right now, mostly recorded from downtown Tel Aviv, but I suspect we're seeing the same thing probably all over Israel. It's a lot of ballistic missiles coming in. Thankfully, Iron Dome is knocking down most of them. But each time you miss one, the consequences of the ground could be very serious. Sure. Now, everybody in Israel has been told, stay near a shelter and get near one the moment you hear an air raid siren or some other alert comes up on your phone or something. So hopefully the human casualties will be minimal. But I kind of feel like this, we knew the Iranians were going to retaliate in some way. This is one of their ways of retaliating. I think the other one that probably has everyone in the U.S. defense community on edge is the sense that Iran loves to work through terrorist proxies. Hamas, Hezbollah, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, the Houthis. And of course, they've openly said they consider us to be responsible for this, even though the fact that we were not directly involved in the attacks from yesterday.
But up till now, Jim Garrity, the Houthis have signaled that they're kind of sitting on the sidelines for now. And Hezbollah seems to be sitting on the sidelines for now, which I find kind of interesting.
Well, there are a lot fewer Houthis and Hezbollah around than there were a few months ago, Dwayne. That they, it's a rebuilding year, as our football teams are fond of saying. The sense of they're not,
the proxies. So the proxies are the New York Jets of terrorist groups. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the Jets were striking last night. The good Jets, the very best Jets, considering the air defense systems, I guess I got to give a shout out to the Patriots as well.
Okay, so let's talk about what we saw last night when Israel got the green light and launched this attack. This plan was 8 months in the making, maybe a little bit longer. Certainly had to be coordinated with Donald Trump. Now, Israel, if you were to draw up, if you're drawing up the battle plan, if you're the Israeli commander drawing up the battle plan, Jim Garrity, and you had your best possible scenario estimates for the first battery, the first wave, could you have imagined anything better than what we saw?
It's tough to imagine. Now, I was saying the damage to Natanz looked like it had been hammered. I heard some people saying, well, they didn't necessarily hit the sites that were deep underground. Israel doesn't have the bunker buster, bomb technology that we do. They may have to strike some sites more than once. I just want to point out about, last night, the initial statement from the U.S. government put out by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and acting National Security Advisor, and the half dozen other jobs that he's got the acting capacity for. Was very much just emphasizing the U.S. was not involved in this attack and that Iran should not retaliate at U.S. sites. And I remember, I think it was some commentator on CNN who was saying there was no statement of support for Israel. Isn't this surprising? Isn't this, kind of shocking? By the time Trump gets on the phone this morning and he puts out a statement on Truth Social, he's very pro-Israel. And he's very much saying clear to the Iranians, yes, I warned you. I went back and I checked. There was a statement from February where Donald Trump had said, or I guess end of March, where he says, if you don't have a deal, you're going to have bombs like you've never seen before. Well, fact check, true. That was very clear. And President Trump was very clear in his statement.
And good for him for doing so, right?
No, absolutely. This is the carrot and the stick. This is the offer. But by the way, and he sent Witkoff, which I am less than fully confident in. If you're the Iranians, this is the best deal you're ever going to get. You're never going to get an American president who is more interested in reaching a deal and being called a peacemaker in the Middle East more than Donald Trump is. And so they, I was starting to hear very ominous things about allowing the Iranians to continue enriching uranium on sites as long as it was for peaceful purposes. Wink, wink.
Right.
And apparently that in my mind, that's a borderline dangerously generous offer from the American government. And apparently the Iranians didn't want to do it. The Ayatollah thought, that's not a good enough offer. And they thought they could string these negotiations out forever. Well, guess what? 60 days means 60 days. Now, Trump is saying, if you want to reach a deal, we could still talk. But remember, the consequences of not signing on to a deal now are probably abundantly clear to the mullahs in Tehran.
Well, and if there was any doubt of what the Iranians thought of the president's peace offering, sending 150 ballistic missiles inbound on Tel Aviv is not exactly the way to signal that you are, open to discussing that further. So Israel gets full marks in my book for the precision for how they did this. And in phase one, going after the personnel, the generals and the nuclear scientists. Phase two, adopting the Ukrainian model of importing into Iran a bunch of drones, smuggling in drones to be able to launch from inside Iran to be able to take out, command and control structures. Phase 3 and Phase 4 are going after Natanz and other nuclear sites. Apparently, Isfahan has been attacked this morning. So they get full marks. But one of the reasons why it was such a smashing success in my book is because Donald Trump played the perfect deke. He fooled the Iranians to think that we're going to send Witkoff to negotiate one more time. We've got another week that we can string this along. We have nothing to worry about. When Donald Trump, I think all the way along, was creating a fake handoff play.
Yeah. Dwayne, when you mentioned the use of drones on Iranian, the Israelis deploying drones onto Iranian soil and then striking them from very close to the air bases, I'm just picturing the Ukrainians being that gif of Leonardo DiCaprio from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Hey, that's our trick. That's our guy. That's our thing.
I know.
We're doing our thing.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.